Hey, yo, so I want to be intentional with this and just let y'all know, like, as a black man, I have insight of a black man. That's all I got. You know what I mean? That's personally all I have. You feel me? Is that type of insight. So I kind of wanted to put that out there and, we take it out, we're going to take it, right? I want to talk about why, why kids join gangs. Give you some examples, as to what I saw personally, in my life, like around me, how I, what I saw growing up as, as a young man. And, women join gangs too, but I'm gonna give a man's perspective. I'm a black man, whatever ethnicity you are, whatever background you have, it might be a little different. I don't know. So, let's get to it. So there's a few reasons, right? You have, a lot of times you have kids that, a lot of times you have kids, honestly, that are not happy at home. Be it they don't have enough money, there's abuse or neglect, or they feel alone. It might be a single parent household. It might not be any parents in the household. It might just be grandma and or grandpa. Some kids come from foster, foster home, stuff like that. I'm not going to catch every reason in this video. That's impossible. So, so you can throw that out the window. What I'm going to talk about is probably just the most common. Hopefully I can speak on that. See if I can speak on that or whatever. But look, so when you have a child that feels not heard or sad or in some way, shape, or form just not taken care of, whether it be emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever, or you have a child that's missing something. Your children could be angry. Like me, I was angry a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I had my reasons, and I explained it in another video. And it doesn't matter if these are good enough reasons. We're talking about kids. So the logic that you're using as an adult watching this video, it doesn't mean anything to a child. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean anything to a child. To a child, they understand the world a lot differently than us, obviously, right? They're kids. So you have to keep that in mind. I think the hardest thing was realizing that a lot of the times people are in that life, a lot of the times, because of a sensitivity that they have. Whether they're, they might be mad because they don't have a father in their life. They might be lacking foundation due to that. You get what I'm saying? Some people I knew had very good foundation with just their mom. Probably would have been a better foundation with their mom than with both of their parents. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people have a toxic household when both parents are in the house, and it's just better when they're not. That's just the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? So you got that. You have kids that come from the same backgrounds. One don't gangbang and the other one does. It's different strokes for different folks at the end of the day. Everybody processes certain things a certain way. Another thing that I think is highly slept on, highly slept on, is peer pressure and just the pressure you have when you step outside the house, but also the need to protect yourself, the aggression, you know what I'm saying, matching aggression, right? When kids go outside and they see something, that becomes their world. Very few times will children only worry about what they see in the household. Because as a human, you see what happens in your house, and you realize that 90% of your life is going to be what happens outside of your house. You know what I'm saying? So you start to figure that out. These are all reasons that I've seen people join gangs. You know what I'm saying? People get out there and go do their thing. Now, I'm up in Northern California. So when I say gangs, a lot of the times up here, unless you're in like Sacramento, You know what I'm saying? Modesto, Stockton. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Salinas. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like, you know, if you're not from those areas, if you're from like the Bay Area, it's not really. They're not really classified as gangs in the Bay Area, but if you look up gangs, it's literally what that is. It's a gang. A group of people that, you know what I'm saying, a group of people that claim something or whatever, whether it be a neighborhood or whatever, it's the same thing. I think we like the term cliques in the Bay Area because we want to distance ourselves away from gang culture, but gang culture is very much there. There are Crips and Bloods in the Bay Area, not very many, but they're scattered around the Bay Area, and there's a lot of active ones. You know what I'm saying? So if you move around in the Bay Area, if you leave your small city in the Bay Area and you move around, you're gonna see it. So that's that on that. When people join these gangs, these cliques, whatever you want to call them, I listed the reason why a lot of the reasons why they do it. When my generation, you know what I'm saying. I'm great to be 37, so my generation was, you know what I'm saying, mid to late 90s in terms of like stepping outside and getting to know yourself. That was a time where, you know, you had Cash Money, No Limit, Rough Riders, all that kind of stuff going on. You had the Bay Area music scene was going crazy, and it was all about where you're from, right? It's all about, like, that's your standard way of getting to understand a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there was a lot of that. There was a lot of the making of, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you grew up, there's graffiti everywhere. You know who doesn't like who beef with who. You know what I'm saying? So you're kind of molded into a person that understands that reality. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. You know, it's sad. But I knew, for me, I learned very quickly who doesn't like who and who claims what and why they do this, how do those people look. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you learn whether you're trying to learn who not to be around or who to watch out for or whatever. And a lot of the gangs, and just in general, that you'll see, this right here is going to be universal. A lot of gangs are formed out of necessity. They're formed because, you know, so-and-so took it, taking peacoats and robbing people. This gang is robbing people, and they taking peacoats, and they taking your shoes, and taking fitted hats off people, and pulling guns on, you know what I mean, pulling bangers on people and all that. So what ends up happening is, now you got a few people that don't like that. They feel some type of way. And because they feel some type of way about it, boom. I mentioned this in a previous video, where it's like, boom, now you have the beginnings, the inner makings of a gang. Of a gang that's created out of necessity. And then you end up being the gang that does all of the other stuff the other gang did, and it just, the cycle continues. And I will tell you, I would say in the Bay Area, at least in the East Bay Area, you know what I'm saying? A lot of what you saw was just 3-letter gangs coming out of nowhere. 3-letter gangs meaning I'm gonna just use an example, like just come up with something random. You know, it might be a group of dudes out of Berkeley that just decide, you know, we don't like X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? We're gonna hold this little area down, and the clique name is Beat Your Ass. Right? And the acronym is gonna be BYA, Beat Your Ass. And you'll see that wrote all over there, you know what I'm saying? Where they, you know, their area, you see it written all over their buses and bathrooms and mall bathrooms and benches and all that kind of, it'll be everywhere. Backpacks, shirts, everywhere. And so that way you know who that person surrounds himself with, because it became less about where you come from and more about who you're around. Because as young people, we realize that as time goes, you leave places. You move to a place, you live there, right? Or you come from a place, you live there, and then you end up leaving there. And just because you're from there does not mean that place that everybody from that area is gonna ride for you, right? At least not in Northern California, because the gangs are not all, and the cliques are not all directly connected to your neighborhood. A lot of people like to say, oh man, it's blocks and it's something. It was many cliques. Many gangs you would call gangs. Like a lot of them. I think when you say gangs, people think color. That's not it. It's not all color. Most gangs don't have colors. Look it up. So again, you know what I'm saying? You got Crip, Blood, GD, Latin King, Vice Lord, BD. You got all kind of. There's so many different types of GDN. There's all kind of different type of, you know what I'm saying, cliques and all kind of gangs throughout the U.S. Not all of them have colors. You know, I just named a couple, just standard, like general, like more commonly known if you look them up gangs. But not every gang. Most gangs do not have a color. So when you say, oh, they bang the bandanas and all, it's not all the same thing. Every gang don't. And there's cliques within gangs that still bang colors, and there's cliques that bang colors. So I don't know, but I'm not no historian. But what I tell you is, we had all that going on in the Bay Area. So a lot of us created these gangs out of necessity. We ended up in a scenario where we wanted to be safe. We wanted to have numbers just in case anything popped off. We wanted to make sure that we were good. And in doing that, we created, you'll create other gangs. And that will be, you know what I'm saying? That's the issue. If you guys ever seen a movie called Fruitvale Station. Fruitvale Station was a story about a young brother named Oscar Grant. Oscar Grant was out of a small city in the Bay Area called Hayward, and there was a scene in Fruitvale Station. That movie meant everything to us that are from the Bay Area, everything to us. You feel me? That movie meant everything to us because Fruitvale Station was a story about a young man that passed away at Fruitvale BART Station in Oakland due to police brutality. So it put a telescope over that and to show what was really going on in the Bay Area. And a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, like us that come from the Bay Area, we're proud, but also we don't feel heard. So a lot of the times we're the loudest in the room because we do not feel heard. A lot of our styles leave our area and people portray them to have made it. You know what I'm saying? They made that beat style. They made that dance style. And it's like these are important pillars in the Bay Area. They're important pillars in our culture. And a lot of people just take from it and take from it and take from it. You know what I'm saying? And it honestly drives us nuts, to be honest with you. But I digress. That story was very powerful to us. And one of the scenes on there I was going to get to was where he was in the on the BART train, and he got into a dispute with a member of a gang, right? One of them 3-letter gangs, right? One of the Latino gangs in a neighboring city. That type of thing, that was a reality, a look into Bay Area living that would go otherwise unnoticed a lot of times. And that was a reality this was mimicking the time of when he was alive and how things were when he was moving throughout the Bay Area, his city, other cities, whatever, you know? And yeah, man, it was big to us. It was big. And that scene right there has been the seed of a lot of people's reasoning on why they join gangs. There's so many young men and young women that get into disputes when they get into it with people that are from gangs, right? And now they feel like they have to have a weapon on them at all times. You know? They have to have a weapon on them at all times because if something were to happen, they have to make sure that they're able to protect themselves. And it happens so quick. happens so quick. You're, you know what I'm saying? One day I remember just being, I was just young, you know what I mean? Just running around having fun and you're young, you're innocent, you know what I'm saying? Very early teens, 13, right? 12, 11, 12. I remember just when I hit 13, I remember just, you know what I mean? It just being different. Now it's like, hey, we can't mess with them fools from up over there, or these type of people, they get down like this. Don't walk over there. You know what I'm saying? These folks in this side of town or that city, whatever, ain't good. And I just fought so and so. Come back and fight. You know what I'm saying? And now you're going with them to go fight so and so, right? And you once you come up for air, you're 14 years old, and you finally come up for air to breathe and look around and just, you know what I'm saying, and just take stock in take count of like what's going on in your life. And you're sitting around other 14-year-olds, they drinking beer and smoking cigarettes and messing with messing with a banger, and you know what I'm saying, they got a hand-me out, a GUN, you know what I'm saying, got it on them, and it's like, you're so young, you know what I'm saying, the girls are getting pregnant, 13, 14 years old, they're getting pregnant, and they're discussing with their friends, you talk to so-and-so, so-and-so from this clique, yeah, well, my baby daddy don't like your baby daddy's clique, and they fighting now, and it's that quick, you were just able to breathe, just able to breathe, and you look up and this is where you're at. You're tagging walls, you know what I'm saying? You're tagging walls, it all happens so quick, man. Let's see, hold on, let me check this out. Yeah, man, you tagging walls, you're fighting. Your friends, one friend go off, he go join this gang. You don't hear from him again. You know what I'm saying? Another friend go off and join this gang. You don't hear from him. It's crazy, and it happens so fast. You guys don't even make it to high school yet before gangs are a large part. You're looking at the color of shoestrings. You're looking at what's on people's backpacks. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at what's in their locker, what's on their notebook. You know what I'm saying? Who they hang out with, all that type of stuff. And I'm saying that's kind of a universal thing, right? There are particular groups that look at colors, right? That wasn't something that I really looked at much. You know what I'm saying? A lot of black people in the Bay Area, a lot of us did not. You know what I'm saying? There were some people that did. And there were certain situations, when I was among, my Latino friends, you know what I'm saying, I would look at particular colors because I need to verify if there's going to be a friction or an issue in their circle. You know what I'm saying? Amongst the Latinos in the area. Because I got to find out, you know what I'm saying, if they're going to go at it, I need to make sure that I position myself properly in that issue. There was a lot. There's a lot. Neighborhood stuff was there, but a lot of the stuff ended up being clicked. Three-letter gangs all day. Just different gangs, you know what I'm saying, different groups that ended up getting into it with other groups because everybody was trying to rise to the top. A lot of angry kids, like me, angry or unheard or not feeling good enough, not finding that they're doing good in any other section other than running around doing something bad, so there's so many different situations, and it's still, that whole energy still goes down in the Bay Area, and some of the same corners I bent, some of the same blocks I spent, all that, like it's the same story on most of them, and it's unfortunate, and it gets worse. It gets worse than that. I mean, there's places where it's just ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? So again, like I said, these are reasons why, you know what I'm saying, young men and young women join gangs. They're unhappy. You know what I'm saying? They're lacking a foundation from two parents. They're lacking a foundation from any parents. The parents that are there aren't doing proper. They're not doing right. They're not doing their big one. Emotional issues, anger management issues, mental health issues, social problems, peer pressure, not feeling safe in your own neighborhood, right? There's so many reasons why people join gangs. And for me, what I don't do is I really don't judge either way. Because to me, I want to make sure that you don't join them at all. You know what I mean? A lot of young men join gangs because somebody is testing them to try to see if they are actually manly enough. And manly and gangbanging and the stuff that comes with that, those don't go together. A man stands on his own. You get what I'm saying? So right off the rip, gangbanging does not coincide with being manly. It's not a masculine thing to do. It's not. And we thought it was. A lot of us think it is. It's not. The man is the person on the inside. The gang is the other extra flamboyant stuff on the outside. What are you going to do when somebody blam at you? What are you going to do? You get robbed, are you going to come back and slide? Are you going to spin the bin? Like, what are you going to do, right? That's the stuff that's when you start getting into gangster stuff, right? As a man, here's the manly shit. How do you take the unfortunate decisions you made and create a better situation for yourself? How do you take it and use that to help other people? What are you going to do with that? That's my question. If you're my age, my question is that. Are you going to take that everything you learned and sharpen your children? That's what I plan on doing. I want people to hear what I say and get inspired, but I also want to sharpen my children. I don't want them to make the same decisions, but I do want them to learn from the bad decisions that I made too. Hopefully they make less bad decisions than I do. Hopefully. A smart man learns from other people's mistakes. You get what I'm saying? Sorry, smart man learns from his own mistakes. But wouldn't it be even better if you could learn from other people's mistakes? You know what I mean? If anything, that's the smart man to me, in my opinion. You know, so again, I had to learn from my mistakes. I learned from others' mistakes too, but I had to learn from my own mistakes. Very, very few people are out there gangbanging because they have to. You might think you do. You might think you do. 10 years later, you're going to wake up and realize you didn't have to. A lot of you guys don't need to. Most people don't need to. So you can scratch that out of the way. You didn't have, nah. There's really no good excuse to do it. There isn't one. Didn't have no daddy, that's not a good excuse. Didn't have a mom, that's not a good, didn't have nobody, it's not a good excuse. There is no good excuse. There's excuses, there's reasonings, but a lot of it is based off of age, right? Because when you're young and you're growing up and you don't understand the world, or you don't have anybody to guide you, you're gonna be more susceptible to that. But yeah, gangs don't guide you in the right direction. They never will, they never have. And you'll never hear somebody tell you that they did, you know? If that's the first thing that people say. I wanted guidance, I didn't have a father, and I wanted to find I looked for a father figure in the streets. That's like a standard, that's just, if I could write somebody's biography that gangbang, that's what I'll write. Because it's a standard, right? Now they're right. If you don't have a foundation, it's tough. But when you look back at what you did versus what you can, if you look back at the reasoning versus what you did, you're like, man, it ain't no reason why I did all that, man. Because none of that had to do with foundation. I knew that man wasn't my father. I knew he wasn't a good representation for men. I knew that. I wanted to gangbang because it was cool and I felt lost. So I went out there and did my big one. you know. And that's that, man. We just got to be honest. And just tell young people like the downsides. Stop making it look cool. Stop telling people they're not with the shit. Stop telling people they're not real niggas. Stop telling people they're not, you not really like that. Because the downside is the person that's not really like that will still shoot you. They'll still lay you down behind words. And what is the preacher going to tell you? Oh man, he was unalived by a man that wasn't really built like that. Nah, you were unalive. We don't bury the weak. We bury the dead. Think about that. We don't bury the weak. We bury the dead. It don't matter what you are when you hit that soil. You get what I'm saying? All that real, that's gone. When somebody says you're not about that life, that's them telling you that you don't jump to go ahead and make bad decisions. That's all they're saying. You're not emotionally unstable. You're not emotionally unintelligent. That's what they're telling you. If you really think about it. Yeah, sure. When I was a young guy and I was running around, if things like that were said to me, then that was an immediate. You would have to handle that aggressively. You know what I'm saying? You would have to handle that physically, and let it be that way. That way, it doesn't turn into something more physical down the line. And a lot of times, it did. To be real, it did. I still, to this day, there are a couple of people I'm not sure what it would be like if I see them again. Not on my end, but on their end. I'm not sure, to be honest. And that is due to decisions that I made. I've come to cope with, to me, it's not too many decisions I made in my life where the outcome isn't at least half my fault. I don't blame other people for my decisions like that. I'm too old for that. I'm done doing the blame game and all that. I'm cool. I just want to work through stuff and fix stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I want them to as well. Like, I don't want nobody having nothing on. I hope the issues that I have and the issues that people have caused me in life, I hope that I haven't done the same to other people like that. But I'm babbling. Like I said, I just gave y'all reasons why people join gangs. Sit down, think about this. If you guys are raising children and they're venturing into their early teens, think about this. If you're in a place where you think that there's a possibility that they could join, think about that. This is a Northern California, you know what I'm saying, type, like, point of view, right? This is not a LA point of view. This, you know what I'm saying, it's a little different. Geographically, it'd be a little different wherever you go. So, you know what I'm saying, just take heed to what I say and think about it. We don't want to egg young men on and make them feel not manly enough if they don't join. We don't want to attack their manhood. We don't want to, all that stuff is sensitive because they're still developing it. We don't want to make young women feel like all they have is their body, right? They don't feel worth nothing. And then when they're running around in the streets fighting and left and right, and we acting like, oh, well, you can't say nothing because all you told them was they are all about the man they're dating and what their body has, right? So now they're fighting over boyfriends at 14. You won't even remember his name when you're 30. She doesn't know that yet, though, right? That's the mindfuck of it all. But yeah, man, I'm gonna holla at y'all, man. Y'all like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm gonna holla at you, man.